A large, silent ship floated in the cold dark of space. It was old, made of heavy gray steel, and shaped like a long arrow. Time had left its marks on the ship. The paint was faded, and the name Hess Columbia was barely visible on the side. No lights came from it, and no signal called out. It looked dead. Captain Alira Venn, a tall alien woman with dark purple skin and sharp eyes, watched the ship from the window of her scout vessel. She was part of the Xelari, a race known for exploring the forgotten corners of space. Her crew stood behind her, quiet but curious. The ship had been floating in this empty sector for hundreds of years. Most believed it was useless, just a dead piece of metal. "We will board it," Alira said. "There may be tech inside worth selling." Her team prepared quickly. They put on suits and checked their tools. A few of them laughed as they moved. One of the younger crew members, Jalen, grinned. "Look at it," he said. "This thing is ancient, probably still runs on buttons and levers." "Humans always built things to look strong but simple," said Rella, another crew member. "No grace, no style." Alira said nothing. She was curious, not amused. She had read about humans. They had disappeared long ago after a great war. Their home planet was gone, but some of their ships were still out there. They flew their small shuttle toward the Columbia and entered through a side hatch. The airlock groaned, but it opened. The inside was dark and cold. Flashlights lit up the narrow metal halls. Everything was covered in dust. "No power," said Darren, the engineer. He tapped his scanner. "No heat, no lights, no active systems." "Looks like no one's been here since the war," Alira said. "Spread out. Look for data cores or anything we can sell." The crew moved through the halls, laughing at what they saw. Old control panels with physical buttons, thick wires, metal doors with hand cranks. It felt like stepping into a museum. Jalen found an old chair near a command console and sat in it. "Captain, I'm flying the ship," he joked, pressing buttons. One of the screens flickered. Everyone stopped. "Did you see that?" Alira asked. "It was nothing," Darren said. "Just a broken screen." But then one of the hallway lights flickered. A soft hum started somewhere deep inside the ship. "That's not nothing," said Rella. They all stood still. The air felt heavier. Darren looked at his scanner again. "Power levels just changed. Something's waking up." "We didn't do anything," Jalen said. He stood quickly. "I was just pressing dead buttons." "Everyone stay calm," Alira ordered. "We leave now. Back to the shuttle." But the hallway lights turned on one by one, slowly leading deeper into the ship. The path lit itself, like an invitation. "Captain," Rella said. "Are you seeing this? It's like it knows we're here." Alira looked down the hallway. Her hand rested on the tool at her side. She didn't believe in ghosts, but this felt like one. "Stay close," she said. "We follow the lights." They moved carefully. The ship didn't speak, but something was awake. In the control room, one screen came to life. Old Earth text flashed across it. "System Reausterity INITIATED STANDBY." They didn't see the hidden cameras turning. They didn't hear the soft click of locked doors behind them. Far below, in the engine core, something old and powerful stretched like it was waking from a long sleep. The relic was not dead. It was only waiting. And now it was aware. The air inside the old ship felt cold and strange. The lights above the crew flickered softly. They moved down the hallway, their footsteps echoing on the metal floor. No one spoke. Even Jalen, who liked to joke, stayed quiet. They reached a large room with rows of chairs and screens. It looked like a control center or meeting space. Everything was covered in dust, but the lights were now on. Grace Parker, the ship's language expert, stepped forward. She was a calm woman with short brown hair and quiet eyes. She looked around, then walked to a small desk in the corner. There was a black box with a symbol on it. "This looks like a data recorder," she said. "Maybe we can learn more about what happened here." She turned it on. The screen showed old human letters. She smiled. "I can translate this. It's using an Earth language." "Do it fast," Alira said. She was nervous but didn't show it. Grace started reading. The message was a log from the last crew of the Columbia. "This is Commander Jonathan Clay of the HMS Columbia," the voice said. It was deep and calm. "We are the last of our kind in this sector. The war is lost, but we leave behind a weapon, a final hope, Project Helix." The crew looked at each other. "What is Project Helix?" Rella asked. "Not sure yet," Grace said. She played the next log. "The core has been sealed," the voice continued. "Only a human command will open it. If anyone finds this ship, know that humanity fought to the end. We did not go quietly." Darren checked his scanner again. "The power is still rising. Systems are turning on all over the ship. We didn't touch anything." "We triggered something just by coming here," Alira said. In another hallway, soft lights glowed behind glass panels. Inside were old uniforms, pictures, and strange round medals. A wall screen showed a still image. Human soldiers standing tall, faces dirty but proud. Jalen pointed. "They don't look scared. They look ready." Grace nodded. "They were always like that. I studied their history. They kept fighting even when things were bad." Suddenly, a soft sound came from the wall. A voice, clear and strong, spoke in English. "Intruders detected. Identity check in progress." The crew froze. "Did someone turn that on?" Alira asked. "No," said Darren. "It did it on its own." The lights in the room changed. Red lines appeared on the floor. A map showed the layout of the ship. A part deep in the center was marked Core. "That's where Project Helix is," Grace said. The voice came again. "Minimal life support activated. Welcome, unknown visitors. Stand by for review." "It's polite," Jalen said. He tried to smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. The door behind them closed slowly with a heavy sound. No one had touched it. "We're not alone," Alira said. "The ship is watching us. Or something in it is," Grace said. They walked down another hallway. The doors opened by themselves now. Lights followed them. On one wall, a message blinked. "Project Helix. Status, sleep mode." Nearby, Grace found another log. This one was older. She translated as she read aloud. "Project Helix is a last defense. If the enemy takes this system, the ship will act. Even if no humans remain, it will remember." Rella stepped back. "This isn't just a ship. It's a weapon." "A smart weapon," said Darren. "It knows we're not human, but it hasn't attacked us." Grace looked around. "It's waiting. Watching. Maybe it wants to know if we're a threat." "Then let's not act like one," said Alira. The hum of power grew louder. Lights blinked faster. Far below, something large moved. The Columbia was waking up, and it remembered everything. The crew moved deeper into the Columbia. The lights on the walls turned on by themselves. The air was still cold, but it no longer felt empty. Something was awake. Something was watching. Darren, the engineer, held his scanner tightly. He kept checking it, frowning more with every step. "There's activity in the lower deck," he said. "Power is flowing to the center of the ship. Something is starting up." "Can you stop it?" Alira asked. "No," Darren said. "I don't even understand the systems fully. They're too old, too human." "Then we need to be careful," Alira said. She looked at Grace. "Can you speak with the ship again? Maybe calm it down." Grace nodded slowly. "I can try." They followed the red lines on the floor. The lights led them toward the core. Every door opened as they approached, then closed behind them. Jalen stayed near the back, checking over his shoulder. "I don't like this," he said quietly. "Feels like a trap." In a wide hallway, The walls lit up and showed moving images. They were videos from the past. Human soldiers fighting in space, shouting to each other, refusing to give up. Big ships burning, smaller ships speeding through laser fire. The images changed to show the Columbia in battle. It looked different. Newer, cleaner, stronger. Its weapons glowed red as it fought off enemy ships. This ship saw war, Rella said. Real war. Grace pointed at one screen. It showed the face of a man with short hair and serious eyes. That's Commander Jonathan Clay, she said. He's the one from the logs. The screen played a short message. To any who find this ship, know that it is not dead. Know that it remembers. If you are friend, be welcome. If you are foe, prepare. It's a warning, Jalen said. They reached a thick metal door. Unlike the others, this one did not open right away. A red light blinked above it. Then, a voice filled the hallway. It was deep, calm, and machine-like. Unknown visitors, you have entered restricted space. Identify. Alyra stepped forward. We are explorers. We mean no harm. Species, non-human. Status, not recognized. Security level, 0. The crew looked at each other nervously. Grace stepped forward. My name is Grace Parker. I study human language and culture. I've read your logs. I understand your history. There was a pause. Then the voice spoke again. Voice pattern, recognized. Language, accepted. Status, pending. That's good, right? Rella asked. I think so, Grace said. I think it's listening. The door slid open slowly. Inside was a dark room filled with old machines. In the center, a glowing blue sphere floated above a control platform. What is that? Jalen whispered. It's the AI core, Darren said. It's the ship's brain. The voice spoke again. Designation, RGUS, Human Defense System. Protocol Theta active. Protocol Theta. Alyra asked. Emergency defense mode, Grace said. It's what the logs talked about. RGUS continued speaking. Foreign presence detected. Awaiting command from authorized human officer. There are no more human officers, Rella said. They're gone. Grace looked at the floating sphere. Maybe I can help. I carry human DNA. My family line comes from Earth. The room went quiet. Then RGUS spoke again. Partial human match found. Language skill, high. Intent, non-hostile. Temporary access granted. The blue lights grew brighter. Machines around the room came to life. Holograms showed maps, weapons, and ship systems. It's giving control, Darren said. Not full control, Grace said. Just enough to speak with it. To prove we're not enemies. Then let's prove it, Alyra said. Let's show this ship we don't want to fight. RGUS spoke one last time. Test begins now. The lights dimmed. The doors sealed shut, and the Columbia waited to judge them. The room was silent. Blue lights glowed from the machines around them. The sphere in the center, the AI core called RGUS, pulsed softly like it was breathing. The doors behind the crew were now locked. There was no way back. Grace stood near the center. Her hands shook a little, but her voice was steady. RGUS, we are not enemies. We are explorers. We found this ship by accident. RGUS answered in its calm voice. Intent, peaceful. Identity, uncertain. Initiating test. The floor around them shifted. Panels opened, and small metal drones rose into the air. Each one had a single red eye and thin metal arms. Stay calm, Alyra said. Don't move unless they tell you. The drones circled them slowly. One stopped in front of Grace and scanned her. A soft beep sounded. DNA confirmed. Partial human. Language and history knowledge. Confirmed. Emotional state. Nervous but calm. Another drone moved to Darren. It scanned him and paused. Non-human. Species. Celari. No hostile data found. The same happened with Rella, Jalen, and Alira. Each time, the AI judged them as non-hostile but unknown. Then RGUS spoke again. Final test, memory review. A large screen dropped from the ceiling. The lights dimmed. A video started playing. It was a memory from the past. They saw Earth, blue and full of life. Then they saw it burning. Huge ships filled the sky. Explosions lit the clouds. People ran, fought, and died. The view changed to the Columbia. Commander Jonathan Clay stood in front of his crew. "We are the last defense," he said. "We will not surrender. If we fall, let our story be found. Let our ship carry the truth." The screen showed battles in space. Human ships, smaller and older, fought giant alien vessels. They were outnumbered but never gave up. "This is what humans were," Grace said quietly. "They were fighters, even when they knew they might lose." "Your words are true," RGUS replied. Final log follows. The screen showed Commander Clay one last time. His uniform was torn. His face was tired. "We locked Project Helix inside the core. It is our last weapon. A memory, a message, and a fire that will not die. If you are friend, help carry our story. If you are foe, beware. This ship still burns." The screen went dark. The drones slowly returned to their panels. The floor stopped moving. "Test complete," RGUS said. "You are not enemies." The doors opened with a soft hiss. The lights returned to normal. "Thank you," Grace said. "What is Project Helix, really?" "Project Helix is a final defense," RGUS explained. "It is a weapon that can think, a system that remembers. It holds all of Earth's last war records, tactics, and commands. It was made to survive even without humans." Alira looked around the room. "And now it's awake again. Because of us." "Correct," RGUS replied. "Power systems at 60%. Weapon systems on standby. Threat detection active." Darren stepped forward. "Why didn't you attack us? We're not human." "Because you did not act like enemies," RGUS said. "You listened. You remembered. That is enough. For now." Rella whispered to Jalen, "This ship could destroy a whole fleet. And it just decided not to." Grace looked at the glowing sphere. "RGUS, will you stay awake now?" "Yes, until final command is given by human authority, or until mission is complete." "And what is the mission?" Alira asked. "To protect human legacy, and to stop those who would erase it." Far away, deep in space, a signal reached the edge of an empire. The Derval, an ancient enemy of humans, saw the signal. A ship once lost was active again. And they were coming. The crew gathered in the control room. The lights were steady now, no longer flickering. The Columbia felt alive. Not just a machine, but something more, something aware. Grace stood near the center with a small tablet in her hands. She had been reading through the logs, trying to understand more about Project Helix. Alira stood beside her, arms crossed, thinking. "The signal that went out," Alira said, "someone will notice it. Someone dangerous." Grace nodded. "The Tharval will see it." RGUS said, "This ship still burns. That warning wasn't just for us." Jalen walked into the room, holding a small device. The scanners picked up movement near the edge of the system. A ship. Fast. Big. Not friendly. Darren looked at the screen. "That's Tharval tech." "No doubt. They're coming." The room went quiet. The screen showed the enemy ship moving fast toward them. "How long until it arrives?" Rella asked. "Maybe 8 hours," Jalen said. "Depends on how fast they push." Alira turned to the AI core. "RGUS, can the Columbia fight again?" "Weapons at 70%. Shields at 60%. Power levels rising. Project Helix is operational." "That's not full strength," Darren said. "If we fight now, we might lose. If we run, The Darvel will destroy this ship and everything in it, Grace said. All the history, all the knowledge, gone. Rella looked around. Then we don't run. We protect it. RGUS spoke again. Tactical systems suggest a high risk of defeat. Recommend strategic delay or surprise attack. We're not soldiers, Jalen said. We're explorers, scientists. So were they, Grace replied. She pointed to a picture of the old human crew. But they stood and fought when it mattered. Elira took a deep breath. We need a plan. For the next hour, the enemy ship floated in space, silent and broken. Pieces of it drifted away slowly. The Columbia hovered nearby, lights still glowing, weapons still ready. Inside the control room, no one spoke at first. The silence was heavy. Then Rella let out a long breath. We really did it, she said. We stopped them. Jalen leaned back in his seat. I didn't think we would survive. Elira stood in front of the screen. She stared at the damaged enemy ship. That was only one. More will come. They won't forget. They'll bring more ships, Darren said. Bigger ones. Grace turned to RGUS. Can we move the Columbia? Hide it again. Negative, RGUS replied. Main engine power is low. Repairs needed. Time required. 12 hours. 12 hours, Elira repeated. Then we need to be ready. We don't know how fast more Darvel ships will arrive. Jalen looked at the map screen. No signals yet, but we should keep watching. Rella checked the damage report. Shields are down to 30%. Weapons are low on energy. We used a lot in that fight. Darren stood up. I'll go to the engine room. See what I can fix. I might be able to speed things up. Take Rella with you, Elira said. You'll need help. They nodded and left the room. Grace stayed with Elira and Jalen. She opened more of the logs from Project Helix. They showed old human plans, battle records, and voice notes. Some were just stories. Humans talking about their hopes, their families, their fears. They weren't perfect, Grace said softly. But they were brave. They built this ship to protect something. Not just Earth, not just people, but ideas. Jalen looked up. What kind of ideas? Freedom, hope, the right to choose. They believed in something bigger than just survival. Elira nodded. And now it's our job to carry that forward, even if we're not human. RGUS spoke again. Unknown signal detected. Weak. Location, edge of system. Show it, Elira said quickly. A small dot appeared on the screen. It wasn't moving fast. It wasn't a warship. It's a probe, Grace said. Maybe from another explorer group. Can we reach it? Jalen asked. Not with current engine power, RGUS answered. Recommend sending message. Do it, Elira said. Send a warning. Tell them what happened. And tell them not to come close. A soft hum filled the room as the signal went out. Down in the engine room, Darren and Rella worked fast. Sparks flew as they opened panels and replaced wires. This system is old, but it's strong, Darren said. The humans knew how to build things to last. Let's just hope it lasts a little longer, Rella said. The lights flickered. Then, slowly, the engine core began to glow brighter. Power is rising, RGUS confirmed. Time to full recovery. 8 hours. Back in the control room, Elira smiled a little. Good work. Keep it up. Grace closed the last log on her screen. She looked around at the ship, at the crew, at the old walls filled with memories. I don't think we found this ship by accident, she said. I think it was waiting. For someone to remember. For someone to listen. Jalen laughed softly. Well, we heard it. Loud and clear. The ship was quiet now. Resting. Healing. But ready. Elira turned to RGUS. If the Darvel return, can we fight again? Affirmative, RGUS replied. And we will not fight alone. Signal sent to Allied systems. Reinforcements possible. Grace looked surprised. You sent a signal. Correct, the AI said. Project Helix includes emergency contact list. Old allies may still exist. A small light blinked on the screen. A reply was coming. Maybe we're not alone, Alira said. Maybe the fire isn't out, Grace added. The Columbia waited. It had woken up, and the galaxy had started to notice. The Columbia floated in space, quiet and strong. Its lights glowed brighter now. The engines were stable. The old warship was ready again. Inside, the crew gathered in the control room. Everyone looked tired, but no one wanted to rest. They all stared at the screen. A new signal was blinking. It's a reply, Jalen said. Someone answered our call. Grace leaned forward. Who is it? RGUS answered. Ship identified. Allied Patrol Unit. Origin. Earth Colony. Eden Reach. Eden Reach. Alira said. I thought that colony was destroyed years ago. It survived, Grace whispered, just like this ship. The signal became clearer. A voice came through the speakers. This is Commander Ellen Shaw of the Eden Reach Patrol. We received your signal. Confirm identity. Alira stepped closer to the mic. This is Captain Alira Tanis of the science ship Luma, now aboard the UH Columbia. We've reactivated Project Helix. There was a pause. Then the voice returned. The Columbia. We thought it was lost. It was, Grace said. But now it's back. We are on our way, Commander Shaw replied. Hold position. We will assist. The crew looked at each other. Relief filled the room. We're not alone anymore, Rella said. Maybe we never were, Darren added. The hours passed. The Columbia stayed hidden behind the moon. Repairs continued. The AI kept scanning space. Then more lights appeared on the screen. 3 ships approaching, RGUS reported. Not Dorval. Identified as Allied. The patrol ships came into view, sleek, silver, and marked with the old Earth flag. They circled the Columbia slowly, scanning, checking. A small shuttle left the lid ship and docked with the Columbia. A few minutes later, Commander Ellen Shaw stepped into the control room. She was tall, with gray hair and sharp eyes. Her face showed surprise and respect as she looked around. This ship is a legend, she said, and now it breathes again. Grace stepped forward. It's more than a ship. It remembers. It speaks. It fights. We saw the battle logs, Shaw said. You stopped a Dorval cruiser with 1 ship. That's more than luck. It was history, Jalen said. And courage. Shaw nodded. The galaxy has changed. But if the Columbia stands, maybe there's still hope. Maybe the old alliance can rise again. Alira looked at her. Are there others? More survivors? More colonies? Yes, Shaw said. Scattered, small, but alive. If they know this ship is active, they'll come. They'll believe again. RGUS spoke. Project Helix Phase 2 ready. Mission. Rebuild connection. Restore legacy. Then we begin now, Alira said. We don't hide anymore. The Columbia powered up. Its engines lit with a blue flame. The patrol ships moved beside it, like guards. A new signal was sent out. Strong, clear, full of old human codes and messages. A call to anyone who still remembered. To all allies. To all who fought and lost. To all who still believe. The Columbia has returned. Grace looked at the screen, then at the glowing AI core. They laughed at this ship. They called it a relic. A dead machine. Jalen smiled. Then it powered up, and the galaxy shook. Far away, in the deep dark, other ships heard the signal. Some were friends. Some were not. But all of them knew one thing now. The fire had returned. The fight was not over. And humanity's story was not finished.